Read exactly what Devontae Wyatt said. He said,
Okay.
when D linemen just get pressure into him, he's always throwing off or it's behind, overthrown or short. When you get pressure on him, it's a guarantee we'll get a turnover. Basically calling his shot, saying we'll get a turnover if we can pressure Brock Purdy. I find that interesting. And I think that there is maybe some truth to that. I think all quarterbacks, when they're pressured, there can be issues. But when you look at Brock Purdy under pressure, he is the best quarterback in the league, according to advanced statistics. Here's the difference, though. And what it sounds like he's talking about is, he said specifically linemen, which to me means he sees if we can get pressure with 4, we're good. He didn't talk about blitzing. He didn't talk about sending extra players. He's saying getting home with 4. And I think that there are a couple games where there are examples of that. And those 2 games would have been Cleveland and they would have been Baltimore.
Yeah.
If you can get home with 4 and you can play either a zone coverage behind that or preferably man, you are in a much better spot. But if you have to start sending extra rushers, if you cannot get home, and it's easier said than done, not because the offensive line is great, but because Brock Purdy does a fantastic job getting rid of the ball very quickly. If you have to start sending extra people to get home on him, he will pick you apart, and that's a mistake. So I'm curious to see what they believe they found on film to where they can get home with 4 all of a sudden. I want to see that happen.
Look, Devontae Wyatt, bless your heart. I'm surprised he said this on the record, but I'm not mad at it. I wish more football players would be this candid. I'm looking at Devontae Wyatt. He's 25. He is in his second season in the NFL. So I'm guessing this isn't something he just discovered on film independently and just went to the press with. No disrespect. I'm guessing this is something his defensive coordinator or his head coach or both said in a team meeting. And so this is probably how the Packers look at Brock Purdy. He's small. He's not as gifted physically. He's not as big. He's not as gifted as Jordan Love. Let's prove it. Let's show the difference. Let's pressure him. He's never under pressure. It always looks so easy for him. Okay. Well, I think the Niners feel the same way about Jordan Love. First of all, like I asked Nick Bosa, like, what's the key to stopping him? And he said, I don't think many teams have made him uncomfortable yet. So like, that's a nice way of saying the same thing. Like, it's also easy for him. He gets to hand the ball off and do play action, get a lot of space and have a lot of time. And I think they feel the same way about each other. The one thing about what Devontae Wyatt is saying is like easier said than done. And maybe for both teams, because you can't just keep Brock Purdy. It's not as simple as just keeping him in the pocket and then knocking him off his spot. He's one of the more elusive, I'm not going to say more mobile quarterbacks in the league. He doesn't run that much, but he's so hard to keep in the pocket. He's hard to sack. He extends plays. And so does Jordan Love. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams do pressuring these quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the key to any quarterback is to pressure them. And that's all the greats throughout history. If you can pressure them and do it with 4 specifically, your job is a lot easier. I mean, that's what defensive linemen are paid to do.
But real quick, do you want to knock him off his spot or do you want to contain him in the pocket? That's like 2 different things.
Those are 2 different things. I agree.
I want to contain him.
Yes.
I want to contain him.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
What I love about Bosa and his interviews every week is he will tell you exactly what the team thinks of that quarterback. Him and Shanahan, they're both honest to a fault. And when you hear them talk, they're going to tell you what they think. And to me, it sounds like they think Jordan Love's pretty good, or at least is playing pretty good. We'll see. They're probably not intimidated by any means, but they definitely have a healthy respect for him. It almost seems like, because this is not the first thing, I don't have the other quote that I saw earlier this week, but it almost seems like the Packers have a bit of a disrespect for Purdy. And maybe that's just me as a fan looking. Like,
sounds like it from what Devontae Wyatt said.
But it sounds pretty disrespectful. And I think this late in the season to be that arrogant when it comes to Brock Purdy, as if he is no good, I think that will come back to bite them. Now, maybe if you're an elite defense like the Ravens or something like that, especially since you've already done it, okay, maybe you can be a little bit arrogant, but they don't have the players to get this done, in my opinion. It's all great to have a game plan, and think you have some sort of magic elixir that's going to win you this game, but it's another to have the players and be able to execute it. I don't believe that the Packers have the defensive players or play caller to get this done.
And it does seem kind of like the Packers, after what you read from after what you read from Devontae Wyatt, it seems like the Packers' attitude is Brock Purdy isn't good.
Yeah.
I mean, what he said made it seem like Brock Purdy's a fraud. Where the Niners are saying Jordan Love is good. Our guys are better, which is sort of how they have to feel. And frankly, the statistics back it up. But yeah, it's really strange to say it. Yeah, sure. He's a smaller quarterback. He doesn't have the strongest arm. If you can sort of constrict him in that pocket and make him throw around bigger bodies, it could go well for you. But that's so much easier said than done. And if the Packers do it, salute. That is what you have to do. I'd like to see you guys keep that little sucker in the pocket, man. It's not easy. He is so slippery. Pause. I'm sorry. He is. He is really elusive. So
he really
good luck.
is.
You got to keep him in the pocket, constricted. You don't even have to sack Brock Purdy. To his point, pressure him. Keep him in one spot, pressure him. He's small. I haven't seen many teams pull that off.
Well, and when CMC's there, I mean, you've got a check down option that is open all the time. Outside of the Ravens game, he's open all the time. So great. Who's going to cover CMC and take that safety blanket away from him? Because if it's not there, he knows exactly where CMC is at, and he will find him, and he will make sure that he lives to play another down. So, yeah, you're right. Easier said than done.